Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along once again to the Monday night edition of What is Philip Parents Eating, otherwise known as the Third and Long Podcast. My name is the incomparable Shane Harris. Above me is Oliver Butler Henderson. To my top right is our beautiful baby Hope. And below him is, he's eating again, Mr. Philip Parents. Gentlemen, it's been, the weekend was eventful. I didn't get to go to the second London game of the season. I'm sure we will cover that in due course. But I'm going to start with you, OBH. How was your experience yesterday? How was your day overall?
I'm getting a complex here. I don't know if Mr. Parents feels the same, but he's the only one who compliments baby's looks. He never says anything about us.
But he is beautiful.
Just quickly, lovely Lolly Beer said good evening, lads. So good evening.
All right.
Hello.
So, yeah. Covering from a cold, feeling crap, but yeah, I really enjoyed yesterday. You know, caught up with a couple of guys off the franchise tag, Sky and Alex. Brilliant, really nice guys. To be fair, good to catch up with them. Again, obviously seeing Bolgy and the big fella, a couple of really nice guys. You know,
has anyone checked in the big fella after yesterday?
He's probably inconsolable.
Oh, mate, I did mention earlier saying, I hope you're not too close to that edge, mate. And they were brilliant with my two kids. My kids got on their podcast as well, so they're absolutely buzzing about that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a brilliant day. A bit one-sided, but yeah, it was an absolute stonk of a day. Really enjoyed today, apart from illness. But yeah, really good.
You got to see Caleb in the flesh. Tell us all about your opinion on it.
It was a good game. It was a bit one-sided. The atmosphere was great. Obviously,
we'll get to the game in a bit.
I had a bit of a nightmare getting back. Didn't get home until 2:30 a.m. due to car issues. But apart from that, it was a great day. And
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr issues.
Yeah, Derek
Carr issues.
I think Derek Carr has enough issues of his own at the moment.
A bit of leaks.
Yeah, there was a lot more Bears fans there than I thought would be, especially a lot from America.
Yeah, that was a proper Bears home game, wasn't it? Me and the lads got into the stadium about an hour before the game kicked off, and there was about 20,000 in there, if that. And the Jags started coming out, warming up, and the noise was ridiculous. I've never heard noise like it at that stadium before. Mr. P.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was going to ask you that question as well, because on the telly, it seemed very much, I mean, the amount of times I saw them dressed up as, what's his name that won the Super Bowl for them in the 80s?
Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka, yeah, the amount of Ditkas that I saw with, like, the glasses, the mustache, and, like, the cut-off vest jumper. But, like, I mean, I'm glad that Sky brought it to people's attention, or the people that were actually presenting on it, because when you think of when the NFL became huge in the UK, you're talking like the mid-80s, when, not to mention the San Francisco 49ers, but like the biggest teams to follow were the Dolphins, the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Chicago Bears, because you had that team, that almost like that crazy gang team that became, William, the Fridge Perry, and Walter Payton, and Mongo McMichael, bless his soul, or Mike Singletary. Like, you had all these great characters that were almost like cartoon characters that just translated straight over to the to the UK audience. So it doesn't surprise me like the Bears have such a huge following, because they were like the it team to follow in the UK when the NFL first blew up in the 1980s. So I'm really glad that they got that kind of reception, because it was their home game as well. So it's one of those where the home team actually had the advantage, I feel, because as soon as the Jags came out at the start of game time, I don't know what it was like in the stadium, Jen, you'll have to tell me, but like it just seemed like a chorus of boos when that Jags offense came running onto the field. And I was like going, whoa, like, if there's one thing that Jacksonville pipe off is the fact that they do pride themselves on being London's team. Well, there was a team in London yesterday, but it wasn't the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I mean, I don't know what you thought, baby, but when they go midway through the third quarter, where's everyone from? UK. Nobody gets a massive cheer. I reckon there was more American fans than there was UK fans in that stadium yesterday.
That's cool. That's cool.
Wow.
I've to admit, for the first time, I feel like both games has actually felt like a home game to the team. There's usually like last year. I'm sorry to say this, Shane, but the Bills Jags game for me, the atmosphere was so much better than the Ravens Titans game.
You've said that previously. I mean, like when we went to the Ravens Titans game, the Titans were the designated home team, but there was so many Ravens fans there. I was obviously in my absolute oils. Mr. P, I will, since we heard of our intrepid pitch side reporters, how was your Sunday? How was your Sunday overall? Then I'll let you know mine after yours.
My Sunday was all right. So I watched again NFL game, then I went to go and play football, and we won our cup final game. So I've won another medal to my little bow. I was really chuffed about that. Like it was actually like, and I spent an obscene amount of money yesterday as well on various shopping bits. But it was quite chill. It was a unique weekend, as in I chilled and also won.
Nice.
Well, we're all proud of you.
Lolly's come in saying the one thing I've learned about the Jags is that they get booed. Believe me, they won't next week. They won't next week at Wembley.
No, I mean, Jacksonville, their home game is the Wembley game. It has been for donkey's years. If you go and listen to Baldy and Big Fella's show, after you finish watching us and listen to ours,
obviously,
the big fella asked a question to Roger Goodall. Obviously, with the Jags stadium being renovated in 25 or 26, can't remember. They're going to need to move around. Are they going to be playing more games over here? And Roger Goodall pretty much said yes. So it's going to be quite a few Jag games coming over here in the next couple of years because of them being in the stadium.
I will just say, for those of you who don't know, Roger Goodell is the boss. He is the commissioner of the NFL. Yeah. So if there's any questions that need to be asked, he is the right person to ask. Just briefly then.
My son come in saying interesting.
Well, you know where we are. If you want to know more information on anything, you know exactly where we are. So my Sunday, I literally gorged myself on football yesterday. From 2:30 yesterday afternoon until the end of the Bengals-Giants game. Yesterday was a feast of football, and I loved every second of it, including the Battle of the Beltway. But we will get onto that momentarily.
I mean, so we'll skip around. We normally do Thursday Night Football first, but we'll do the London game first as we're in that area anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, what is wrong with that Jacksonville? Who's right? I'm going to put this as a spin because I reckon there's 4 head coaches that are in serious pressure now. 2 of them played yesterday.
Can I guess who I think they are? Who I think?
Go on then.
So I think you think obviously Doug Peterson.
Yep.
Mike McCarthy.
Yep.
I'm thinking about the other ones.
NFC East.
NFC East.
AFC North.
AFC North. Brian Dable?
No, I don't think Brian Dable's under pressure.
McDermott?
Who?
Sean McDermott.
No.
Surely you can't think Dan Quinn.
NFC East.
Yeah, I've just been through the 4 teams in the NFC East.
You knew we'd forget.
Sirianni.
And Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah. Stefanski said that he's sticking with Sean Watson, which is another thing altogether. But
I think that's going to be his downfall. I think he's going to be down. But
I think there's more than that, to be honest.
I think Doug Peterson's very, very lucky that Jacksonville are in England for another week.
Yes.
Otherwise, he'd be landing in Jacksonville. Sorry, mate, you have a job. Bye. because they were shocking yesterday. I was watching some of the sidelines of points yesterday, and there was normally these players grouping together, offense trying to sort things out. So you had like 11 players all grouped together trying to sort it out. And then as the game got on, that these groups splintered and got smaller and smaller. And at one point you had literally Trevor Lawrence holding his helmet down, looking down. You had Gabe Davis looking down. You had, Tank Bigsby all looking down, like literally forlorn. I've never seen a sideline like it. And I watched the Cowboys game last night, and and what Detroit went through last night, and what Cowboys went through last night. The Jacksonville's gone. He's lost that changing room. Let's go with Baby first.
So something I noticed a lot of is the Jags had 8 penalties last year.
Oh my God, yes.
There were so many. In the first half, there were so many false start penalties, and they just kept shooting themselves in the foot when they had the chance to get off the field on third down for the defense too.
Yeah. No, Mr. Payne?
I mean, it's only because I haven't really been following the Jags this season because I've just been more interested in the dynamics of the others. So, I mean, they are pound for pound one of the worst teams that I've watched live this year so far. I know I messaged you guys during the game where I know that the initial drive I was like, I don't really rate Caleb Williams because it felt like after the first 2 drives that the Jags had kind of sussed him out, but then something had happened where they just kind of lost all form of momentum. And I'm just seeing if anybody in our little round table, but has anything come out about a lot of the because normally when a team disintegrates like that, there's a lot of uneasiness in the camp. Yeah. Whether or not it is from certain toxic players, whether or not it's coaching regime, whether or not it's ownership and office. Trent Baalke has a severe history of being a toxic administrator in the NFL. And I'm just saying a lot of problems came from him under the Jim Harbaugh kind of initiative when he was at the 49ers.
The power struggle, you mean?
Yeah. So in terms of Doug Peterson, now Doug Peterson went on a really, really big high when he was at Philadelphia, then he fell off the cliff. He's kind of done the same thing at the moment in Jacksonville, where this is his 3rd season. And I can't remember how long he was in Philly, but he kind of peaked and then the dip was huge that they got rid of him and brought in Sirianni.
2 seasons after.
Was it 2 seasons after the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't particularly last long. I don't know whether or not it's his kind of coaching regime where it is he gets a good 3 years and he's moved on, almost equivalent to a Jose Mourinho when Jose was in his prime. You get 3 solid years and then that's it. And then he has to move on because he either burns players out, he burns down bridges, he rubs people up the wrong way. That's just kind of how Jose works. Now, I don't necessarily get that from Doug Peterson, but I don't really know anything that's going on in the locker room is essentially what I'm trying to say. You've got some really great players. I mean, I've kind of decided on how I feel now about Trevor Lawrence. He is a very serviceable middle of the pack quarterback. He's not a game winner. He's not a superstar. He's not going to be anything like that. Yeah. So, but then, I'm a big fan of Josh Hines Allen. Huh?
I would call him an Eli Manning.
No, I'd go more of a Derek Carr.
Okay, let's see that.
Because Eli could win the big one. Not throwing shade at anyone around our table a second about winning things, but Eli won the same amount of Super Bowls as his big brother. So I would put him in the same category as a Derek Carr, where when he's good, but when he's bad, he really stinks up the joint. And I just don't know what's the news coming out the Jags locker room. Is there some form of tyranny in there? Is there a fallout? Is there some toxic kind of attitude? What's going on?
There doesn't seem to be. I saw Tony Khan came out in the week in support of Doug Peterson, which I thought was.
Of course he did.
Of course, TK loves on with the voice. You know that.
Just quickly, Danny Mack has said, "How are we, fellas?"
Well done, Danny.
What jersey you got on in that picture, Danny? There's a couple of things that I've seen come out. Doug Peterson says the culture needs to change.
Yeah.
Which is ominous for you because you are the one that runs that culture.
Yeah.
I always
You know,
find it odd. I always find it odd when managers come out like, or coaches come out like, we need to change the culture, or the players weren't locked in. It's like, that's your job.
Yeah.
Attitude
then,
reflects leadership. That famous line in all sports: attitude reflects leadership. If you have an apathetic team that's being easily turned over and don't seem bothered or motivated, that reflects on the leadership, because that's the tone that they set. If you accept that you're a losing franchise, you are going to have a losing mentality. I mean, again, I said yesterday, Blake Bortles is still the best quarterback Jacksonville have ever had. He got them to a championship game.
And the
So
other thing that's
Danny's
come
answer to your question, Ollie, saying my man Hutch, 97.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute, Danny.
Lolly seems to agree with us, saying the manager creates the culture. No?
Yes, 100%.
I mean, look at Dan Campbell. We'll talk about that in a bit, but look at Dan Campbell, what he does there. He's not okay. He's not like he's a ballsy play caller. They're showing some of his stature in the game, but he creates positivity, and literally, you see, you know, after the ball game, he gave Gareth Goff the ball game, but he goes, "No, this is for you. This is your city. You play in the city. You're born. You have that ball." He does this.
Danny said overshadows the win for me. Well, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. But coming back to the Jags, Cisco said that a lot of players quit at the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of them. He had a couple of holds. Number 25, I can't remember who his name is, but he was literally penalised every time the ball went anywhere near him. It was ridiculous. Shane.
Boys, if you look at the Jags offense and defense, they got playmakers on both sides of the ball. The Brian Thomas Jr. has basically been their number one wide receiver since the beginning of the season. He's basically hit the ground running. He's been fantastic. But then you've got the likes of Evan Engram as well. They brought in Gabe Davis from Buffalo, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby. Boys, that's a good offense.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think's going on?
Lolly, we don't mean quitters in left the Jags. We mean quitters in
just stop playing well.
They stopped.
Just gave up on the field, basically.
Yeah, they stopped trying because they thought the game was over. Not literally, not literally like quit their job and left the Jags.
I mean, it seemed like it. Some of them.
You're right. They do have. They're a good team. They have good players. So I think we have.
I mean, Tony Khan has said. Tony Khan's come out and said, this is the best Jags team we've ever had.
And you're 1-5.
Yeah, I just want to quickly run through their offensive playmakers. They have Trevor Lawrence, Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk, Evan Engram, Gabe Davis. That is a good offense.
It is.
I mean, their O-line there was no O-line yesterday.
They've got a good O-line because as you guys know, if you can run the ball like they can in Dallas at the moment, it means you've got a good O-line.
Stop with the Cowboy slander now. Well, for now at least.
Mate, you wait till we talk about them. The Jacksonville's are in trouble. Normally they come over here and it's like a safe haven for them. I mean, we spoke earlier. I mean, Jacksonville's about 7 hours behind us at Florida, I think it is. So it's like lunchtime over there at the moment. So they're all like, I've not seen anything. I've not heard anything from their reports come out saying he's got obviously the majority of them over here, but this is their day off in Jacksonville. They won't be back in until tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting what happens tomorrow.
Danny said he thinks the OC is the issue. Calls terribly. I see last week he did 5 yards and threw it 3 times.
Yeah.
Actually, just while we're talking about that, I want to talk about the Caleb Williams interception. You needed half a yard. Why are you throwing a 50-yard bomb?
Overconfidence, maybe show off. Who knows? But half a yard.
I mean, it was just after he made that 20-yard run, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
And he tried to throw a 50-yard bomb into the end zone, and it just wasn't the right play to do that. It was. I know he is a rookie, but it was a rookie error. That
makes you wonder who called that play. If it's third and inches, basically, who called that play?
Yeah, it's obviously set up like that. I mean, it was a bit of a scramble drill. It wasn't a straight drill because, he was, I mean, the wide receiver was open. It was an overthrow. it was a massive overthrow, so there was a lot of adrenaline pump behind it. Well, I mean, Caleb had a good game.
Caleb did. I just wanted to talk about that one play.
Yeah. I mean, he threw for 226 yards, 4 touchdowns. He rushed for 56 yards, including that massive one straight down the middle. The thing is, though, Jacksonville, they managed to stop one play. So he goes, all right, then we're going to do DeAndre Swift. They stopped that. Okay, I'll run the ball. And they just didn't know what to do, Jacksonville. I think the issue is there's a coaching issue in Jacksonville now. They got the best team, sort that out. Okay, let's go back to our usual routine.
That thought before we do, we've slated the Jags and how bad they were, but how good were the Bears? Let's be real. Yeah, really, are they 4 now? Are they 4-2? We said at the beginning of the season they've retooled this offense. They've got the first #1 overall pick in the draft, who struggled initially in the beginning, but he's firing on all cylinders now. So how good can this Bears team be?
I mean, you got Cole Kmet get a couple of tuddies, bloody Keenan a couple of tuddies. Roma Dunze could have had one. DeAndre Swift could have had a catching one as well. They're a good team. Next season, I think this season's a bit too early for them. But next season,
DJ Moore had one call back, didn't he? So end around.
That's right. And so even Cole Kmet was filling in at long snapper as well. Which at the press conference, he mentioned after the game that he reluctantly filled in a long snapper. So, but read into that what you will.
I didn't notice that actually.
I did.
I didn't notice it either. Their snaps were good. Right. If you want to make a cup of tea or want to make a sandwich, go away now. We're going to let the boys talk about Thursday Night Football.
Oh, come on, Ed.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but
really lovely.
Yeah. Purdy. So the Niners won 36-24. They tried to throw it away from being 23-3 up to being 23-17 up. Special teams costing us a touchdown again. But I thought Purdy played well. His throws to Kittle for the touchdown that were good. Debo made a play for his touchdown. The defense was pretty good. I think Nick Bosa got something like 14 pressures on Geno.
Yeah.
But he didn't get a sack, but the defense played pretty well. It was nice to see the two rookies both get an interception each, although I don't know why Mustafa decided to then run out of bounds on his. More injuries. We had one fit running back by the end of it. That's why we
on the 2-yard line.
He's the one that went down on the 2-yard line. He claims he went down of his own accord to play the clock. I'm not convinced by that. I thought it was a good performance, and it was nice to beat Seattle in Lumen.
Seattle.
I mean, before you jump in, Geno's now 0-6 on Thursday Night Football.
Wow.
He's also 0-4 against the Niners.
Chat, right? Debo's touchdown. What the freaking hell was that safety doing? I mean, you played it. Okay, you played defensive end, Phil. I played safety. I played corner. So, but what the hell was he doing?
Yeah, I think he was trying
I'm just going to dive past you. Whee!
I think he was trying to pick it and just totally misjudged it.
It reminded me of the Minnesota Miracle.
Miracle.
Literally, play the ball, not try and wipe the man out, because that's what it looked like. It's one of the most stupidest plays I've ever seen. You make yourself look like an idiot. I'm trying not to swear anymore because obviously,
I was going to say we can't anymore.
It was one of the most idiotic plays I've ever seen. Anyway, sorry, chaps, over to you.
All right. So I agree. I thought Brock looked really good. I thought Debo looked good. Kittle looked good. Ayuk looked good. A little bit concerned that we only have one fit running back now, but the thing is, like the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan's offensive scheme, I mean, he can take free agents and low-round draft picks and turn them into amazing superstars, i.e. Raheem Mostert being one of them.
Mason's expected to be back for the Chiefs.
Yeah. Special teams is going to kill us. I thought our defense played really, really well on the day. Our rookies are balling out. Oh my good God, some of our rookie players phenomenal. But our special teams is going to kill us, and it's cost us already this season, and it looks like it's going to continue to cost us when we play some of the. Yeah, when we come to play, Kansas, that could kill us. Even when we play Dallas, that could kill us as well. So that's the only thing that I'm really concerned about there. But I just want to bring to our attention. Has anybody noticed this season that tackling across all 32 teams has been horrific?
Yeah.
What happened to bringing the player down? I know you can't do the hip drop anymore, but what happened to wrapping? Why is every player trying to hit that Madden kind of tackle where you literally bowl them out of that? Yeah. I don't understand it, because I noticed it yesterday where the Jags defense was doing it. They were literally, that's kind of like how was it Komet scored his touchdown, because you had
you got over it.
No, but but he dropped his shoulder. But at the same time, there's ways that you can avoid that when doing tackling anyway. If somebody dropped their shoulders to me, I would drop lower and bring them down. So if they're going to run through me, I'm going to bring them down as well. But there was no. Yeah, well, exactly. So there was nothing of that particular ilk. I don't buy into the fact that when a player drops the shoulder, they're beating you. No, you just find ways to adapt. That's literally what I used to do against running backs when I would play, where they would try and drop the shoulder onto me, or even tight ends when I would play defensive end. Yes, dropping the shoulder is an advantage, but you also have to get past the player. And if you can't do that basics, you're going to get run over. And there's a reason why the Jags defense is the 31st. I don't know what rank our 49ers defenses across the whole. I don't know if you do, baby.
No, not off the top of my head.
I mean,
that's fine.
Obviously, when you got taught to play it, you were taught to tackle. And from what I remember is our tackling, when we were taught to tackle at playing defensive back, it was very much a rugby style tackle.
Yes.
It wasn't, I'm going to literally wipe you out. I mean, I did take a quarterback out one game because I.
Oh yeah, I did as well. Yeah, there's video footage on YouTube of me doing it, and I'm chuffed that I've got it bookmarked. But you learn, you learn. You learn. Not every tackle has to be a Hall of Fame Madden moment. It doesn't have to be. It's not always. Every tackle's not going to be on Monday Night Football highlights. No. It's fine. You just have to do your job, and I think we've got a lot of players now that are tackling like they're playing for a highlight reel.
Yeah, Mr. Harris, sorry.
Thank you very much. OBH, it's funny how a win changes attitudes, isn't it? I put in the group chat, Phil's like, I'm on this week. I'm like, well, the Niners won, did they?
No, I think if you read our message, I literally said I'm about to have din-dins. I'll be on after.
Yeah, but you're still eating. You were still eating when we came on.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Mondays are my late nights.
You can tell.
Meal and see how slow parents eat.
Boys, don't tease me with a get-together. You're just teasing me now. I mean, you can tell when someone's from the posh area of England that he has pudding as well,
Yeah, tiramisu as well, mate. Not just anything else. Tiramisu.
Lonnie said maybe they get extra pocket money if they do Hall of Fame worthy tackles.
Yeah, go and watch a film called Is it Hometown?
Home
Team.
Yeah.
Home Team.
Actually, I'm watching Twin
It's
Town.
about Sean Payton. It's loosely based about Sean Payton and his bounty hits.
A thing called Bounty Gate. Yeah, have a look into that. If you want any help on that, as I said, just give me a shout.
Or watch the start of season 5 on All American. On ITV Hub.
Remember now, baby steps with her because she's uneducated. So we've got
to. You talked about a win changing the attitude. What about a loss changing the attitude? But is there any kind of positivity in New England, Ollie?
Yes.
The season's almost over.
Drake May in one game has thrown more touchdowns than Jacoby Brissett has in the whole of the season so far. Yes, you had the rookie start, shall we say, the nervousness, and you have the rookie errors because you're going to get that. He's a rookie, he made his first start, but there is so many positivities. He was, excuse me, 20 from 33 for 243 yards, He still got sacked 4 times, but I was holding the ball too long. 3 touchdowns. He rushed for 38 yards. He was the leading rusher on the team as well. He's used to playing behind an O-line because North Carolina has a bad O-line. It's known for bad O-line. But there was that throw to Kayshon Boutte at the end of the first half. It was a flick of the wrist, 50 yards, and it dropped in Bouche's, but it was in the breadbasket. It was a proper throw. But yeah, again, penalties cost the team, and there was a few silly ref mistakes, shall we say. Out, that hurt. So I was scratching my leg and just punched the desk.
Live TV, ladies and gentlemen.
Whose was it? It was Damian Pierce's run. I still think he stepped out of bounds. I think Gonzo pushed him out of bounds. But there was a play in another game that was pretty much the same, and they kept it the same also. Whatever. I mean, silly errors, forced fumbles, really let us get away with it. As Gerard Mayo said in the press conference, we let Drake May down. There's a lot of things positive about that performance last night from Drake May. They've opened up the playbook. Teams are now going to go, oh, this kid can actually throw the ball long. They can actually throw the ball long. They've got players who can do it. Boutte can go deep. Thornton can go deep. And then you've got someone like Pop Douglas who can run the inner slot routes, and KB, when he's back, can go deep as well. There's a lot of positives about this team. And it starts with number 10. Who wants to go first? Because I know someone's asking.
Yeah, baby, really quickly. As a Pats fan, Ollie, do you think Drake May was thrown to the Lions yesterday against that vaunted Texans defense?
They are the second-ranked defense in the league. I mean, our fixtures, no matter who he went against, probably apart from next week, it was always going to be a bit of a baptism of fire. I mean, you're now going to look at these performances going, why didn't you start in week 1? You know, maybe week 2, maybe week 3 might have been a bit better, but why wait so long? I mean, the problem is now we've had 6 different starting O-line in 6 weeks. We've not had a regular starting O-line. I mean, the guy who we signed midweek from the Raiders practice squad. Excuse me. I mean, the guy who we started off the Raiders practice squad yesterday, started center, was absolutely superb. He allowed 0 pressure.
Yeah, Donny's just said, I thought he was thrown to the Lions yesterday. I agree.
But then again, he would have been thrown to the Lions at any season, any game he had played. But he did well. He stepped up. It was never going to be a perfect performance. It was always going to be a rookie performance. And you can see why he's compared to Josh Allen. Baby.
So this is just 2 quick things. Number 1, Drake May is like one of the few things I'm actually excited to watch next week.
Yep.
And I'm glad the Niners have already played you when you actually go with Brissett under center. And Laura N has come in saying, hey guys. Hey Laura.
Hello.
And
Laura.
Danny said he did do well.
He did. He played really well, to be fair. I mean, the Kayshon Boutte throw was spot on. I mean, that is a highlight reel in itself. I told you go and get it. It literally is just so easy, and it's like, that's a hell of a throw. And it literally, in the breadbasket, couldn't go any better. Mr. Harris.
Yes.
You had a game and a half against the Commanders, my friend.
Oh, my word. All that I saw yesterday was this hyperbole about Jaden Daniels is this, Jaden Daniels is that. He can do this, he can do that. The commentators, we had Tony Romo commenting on the game, and he must have forgotten who the Commanders were playing against. Because as I said, it was all this hype surrounding Jaden Daniels. Don't get me wrong, he didn't do too bad. He was 24 for 35 with 269 yards, and he threw 2 strikes to Scary Terry. But let's be fair, you're at M&T Bank against one of the best teams in the AFC, if not the NFL, on their day. Even if it's not their day, they're still going to give you a game. The Battle of the Beltway did not disappoint yesterday. Lamar threw an early pick. It was a deflection, but yeah, it was a pick nonetheless. So there was that early on, which made Washington go 3-0 up fairly early. And then the greatest kicker to ever do it drew the game back to 3-3. And also, I've been a bit on the fence, as I've said it all season regarding Derrick Henry, or at least before the season. But boys, not being funny, he's definitely up there for the MVP shout for, or at least offensive player of the year. He's scoring in every game, and how many rush yards did he get yesterday? 132, and he scored 2 touchdowns as well. You know what I mean? Phil, he was the only enemy for you in my team in our fantasy game yesterday, which you won. Congratulations, my old buddy.
Oh my God, I won! Oh my God, I think that's the first victory I've ever won.
I've checked.
Mate, you're 3-2.
I've got a winning record. Jesus Christ!
3-3 I am. So like I said, I think we played really well, but then the defense again was letting us down, and they brought Dean Pease in to assist Zach Orr with his first year as a DC in Baltimore. So yeah, he's obviously going to be learning from that. We even saw a Mark Andrews touchdown yesterday. Wow, I haven't seen one of those for a long time. But he's now the top touchdown scorer in the history of the Ravens, which, I mean, yeah, we've already been a franchise since 1996, but that's still an achievement in itself. Rashad Bateman.
He's got more than Anquan. He's got more than Anquan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rashad Bateman's coming into his own as well. 4 catches, 4 targets, 71 yards. But my player of the game yesterday, and he was absolutely unreal, is number 4 wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens, Mr. Zay Flowers, one of my favorite players of all time, because he's just incredible. 9 catches, 9 attempts, 132 yards. He didn't score, but everywhere that LJ was throwing the ball, it was to Zay. And Zay would make a couple of moves, and he'd get an extra couple of yards. The bloke is incredible. But as I said, our defense still conceded 23 points. So we've got the Buccaneers on Monday night, next Monday, who put up 51 points against the Saints yesterday. So that's going to be a scary thing to watch with regards to ourselves. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting going forward. The Ravens are now 4-2. The Commanders are also 4-2. So it's going to be interesting going forward. See what happens next for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've not seen it. So you've seen now a full game of Jaden Daniels. What is your honest opinion of him?
Unbiased, I think he's really good. He's the best rookie in this class, I think, even when you've got Caleb now, who's sort of coming into his own. And Drake May, as you said, had his first good game yesterday, but he's on a poor Pats team. I think you'll agree.
Yeah.
Washington may be going places. I'm a big fan of Scary Terry. They've got Austin Eckler, Noah Brown, Zach Ertz. They've got a good side, new ownership, new coach. The building blocks are there. It's just like, if he's this good this year, how good is he going to be next year and the year after that? We said the same thing about CJ Stroud. How good was he last year? This year he's been excellent, but he hasn't ascended that next level, I don't think, yet. But he's definitely capable of it, and so is Jaden Daniels.
I mean, who would have thought Washington would be 4-2, top of the FC East after 6 weeks?
Insane, absolutely insane.
Against a good Philadelphia Eagles team, which got better with the adding of Saquon Barkley, and on paper, an incredible Dallas Cowboys team.
On paper.
Hey, my football's not played on paper, boys.
Right, let's roll on to Dallas, because I know Danny Boy is waiting for them.
Yeah, Flick has said the Cowboys didn't turn up yesterday.
I mean,
Danny Boy, the pipes.
There's been a big discussion in the comments about the Cowboys Lions game, so I'll let you guys take it away because I've not seen it.
I'm going to start with, this was a beatdown of all beatdowns. So much that, who remembers Dallas against the Lions last year? What was a big controversy last year?
Was he eligible?
Exactly. I think Ben Johnson spent pretty much half of that game trying to get a big man a touchdown. Any way possible. You had Penny Sewell laying out for literally a 5-yard dive. Got called back for a penalty. Eric Decker got his knocked out of his hands. There was literally any way he could to try and get a big man to get a touchdown, even running in as a fullback. Gets called back. And it's like, yeah. there's an unwritten rule in this league that you take your foot off the gas when you've got an assailable lead. Yeah, Detroit weren't. But I don't think we can talk about this game without the horrific injury that happened to Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
I mean, this is... Sorry, guys, I know you're not going to like this, but he is the best pass rusher in this league at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm not denying it.
He
Please don't say because we're Niners fans that we're literally going to die hard Bosa. Like, I would put Bosa...
You do.
We are diehards for him, but like he's not even remotely the best at his position at this present time. Yeah. And Hutch and Max, I think, are better than him in any way. But yeah, it's devastating what's happened to Hutch.
For me, Hutch was the front one of a
break.
DPOY. He was probably going to win DPOY.
Oh, yeah. 100%. It's a tib-fib break. He literally had emergency operation straight away. So they literally took him straight to the Dallas hospital, operated him straight away, put the pin in straight away. He's due to stay there 2 or 3 days and then fly it to Michigan. Probably going to have to drive it because I don't think he'll be able to fly. You have to get a bus up or something like that to Michigan. But yeah, I mean, it's devastating because what he is to this team is massive. You know, he played high school football in Plymouth, Michigan. He obviously played for Michigan Wolverines, and now he got drafted by his home team. This guy is Michigan 100%, and then to have this done as well, it's shocking. Mr. Pig.
Just like speaking from a little bit of experience as well, of like broken legs. When I was in high school, I played a lot of football, like our football, and I was fortunate to play in the Wolverhampton Wanderers Academy, and I was there for 2 years. And I broke my leg when I was 16, and that ended my season. I had to have an operation. I had 2 pins put in. I still struggle with it to this day, but it changes how you train. It changes how you think. Like, even now that I still play football, it changes how I dive to my right side because I'm very conscious of I don't want it to hurt when I get back up again. And it took me such a long time to get over that injury to this point now. When I see you guys next time, and I don't know if you noticed it, Shano, when you stayed with us, but like I have a click in my leg when I walk, and it drives Gemma crazy sometimes because I'll just walk down the street of her and it's like click, 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 click. So basically what I'm saying is it's not a quick journey for him to come back from. He's not going to be playing for the remainder of this season, and he shouldn't be even up for a debate. He might miss a good portion of the off season and this good portion of this regular season next year, so into 2025. And we might see a slightly different touch when he does come back. Fortunately, he has age on his side. He's only 24 now. Even if he's out until he turns 26, he's still very much young before he even hits his prime. And he's in the best environment for him to be in, because that Lions team, that Lions organization, and the work that our boy Dan Campbell has been doing is going to keep him in that protective bubble where he's still going to want to be loved. He's still going to be part of that team. Yes, just because he's injured, I'll still expect him to walk up on the sidelines. I still expect him to be there. He's not that type of player where he'd want to be sitting out for 18 months to 2 years. I very much think that he's still going to be there when he can. He's kind of stuck at the moment in Dallas, where he's had the operation. But I do think that when his recovery gets there, it's not going to be quick. It's going to be long. It's going to be very, very difficult for him. But the Detroit Lions are the best team, I think, in the NFL for him to be a part of as he recovers.
Just quickly, exactly. Danny said that it's a clean break and it's the best of a bad situation and it won't affect him long term.
Absolutely, it won't affect him long term, but we're thinking short to mid term. Like I said, he's 24. I mean, Hendo, you've had injuries. You played at a much higher, league. I finished my academy shit when I was 17. So, and I chose to not renew because I was just in a lot of pain and I wanted to reevaluate what I did. But from the part when I was 14 up until 17, I played, at Wolverhampton Wanderers Academy. And that was on top of me playing for my high school team. That was on top of me playing for my Sunday league. I played a lot of football. So again, not high level football, but it affected me. It affected how I trained. It affected how I played. Mentally, it still messes with me to this day. And my strong side is my right side to dive on. And even when I play football, I literally had knee braces on because I was very conscious of that. If one errant tackle, if I go down wrong or someone goes into me or I land awkwardly, that's me done permanently. So I'm just very, very conscious that legs is a difficult thing.
Yeah. Mr. Harris, before I got some breaking news.
I mean, yeah, of course, no worries. I've said it before on the show, and I'll say it again. I've never broken a bone. Plenty of hearts, but no bones. But I can imagine something like that will change the way he plays and his mindset going forward as well. But I can assure you of one thing. He's only 24, and he's as important to Detroit as RoboCop and Martin Mathers. He's an icon.
We got some breaking news. There is someone leaving Jacksonville. Defensive tackle Roy Robertson Harris is going to Seattle for a 2026 sixth round pick.
Interesting.
So that's been tweeted by Tom Rapp and Mike Galafero. So that's literally just happened. Right. Let's go back to the game now. But I mean, you've called it already, but Brian Branch had a game. He is going to be the best safety in this league for years. He was absolutely outstanding. 6 tackles.
I just want to quickly, I like Danny's tackle here saying, if I was playing for Dan Campbell, I'd probably want to play with a broken leg.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah. We've said it so many times, we would run through brick walls with Dan Campbell. I mean, myself and parents have played the sport. Mr. Parents coaches himself. If you had him as your head coach or even as your manager playing like football, I played like at a fairly decent level football-wise. If you've got someone like that as a manager, you'll do anything for them. Not like something that would happen in Philadelphia, their manager, Jacksonville, their manager, Cleveland, their manager at the minute, their head coach at the minute. There's a lot of issues. If I'm coming to free agency and some of these teams come in and you see that Detroit's one of them, you're going to want to go to Detroit. Yeah. Not purely for the fact that this is a championship-ready team, because it is, purely the fact for the man that literally is on that sideline leading this team. And if they got Ben Johnson there, wow.
No, Ben Johnson's gone at the end of the season.
We have a way too.
Anywhere.
Dallas? Cleveland?
I think he'll probably have his pick.
He will not go to Dallas because of what happened last year. I mean, literally, he was trying to embarrass Dallas yesterday. He tried every single way possible to embarrass Dallas yesterday, which is hilarious. And if I was any team or any head coach or any coach that's looking to become a head coach, as long as Deshaun Watson's still in Detroit, I would not be touching that place with a 10-foot pole.
You mean Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Yeah,
I reckon he'd do a good job in Philly.
Yeah. I mean, I would love him to come to New England because he went to Boston College.
Because Philly still have a talented roster.
True.
Just one more thing. Danny has said the change that Campbell and Holmes have brought is unreal, which I agree with. And he says Ben Johnson could have gone this offseason, just depends if he wants the head coaching job. I feel like Ben Johnson wanted one more year to see what he could do with this offense. And yes, I think he does know what he's built, what's been built here. But I think he wanted one more year. And
he wants to finish the job. That's the phrase that came out.
Finish the story.
Last off season. He wants to finish the job. That job is a Super Bowl ring. And I'm not being funny, but those Detroit fans deserve a Super Bowl ring. If any franchise does, it is that team.
Yeah.
That team. Before we roll over quickly on Sunday Night Football, let's go through a few of the other scores really quickly. The Green Bay Packers steamrolled the very sore Arizona Cardinals. They did not look the same team that beat you boys last week. Sorry.
I'll say it again, didn't you? Say it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me feel really bad. That actually made me feel bad. Like, they didn't even put up a fight.
They look like the team that played in the first half against the Niners.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvin Harris Jr. went down. You know, I don't know what it is, but this Green Bay team's looking good. The NFC North at the moment is 17-5.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ridiculous. Indianapolis Colts came from behind to beat the Tennessee Titans.
Yes, Joe. Come on, Joe.
Will Levis took out a ball boy, whatever they're called in American football. I never know that one. Who got carted off. So that guy comes right.
I still call him a ball boy.
Yeah. The Buccaneers put a 50 burger up on the Saints.
Mm.
In one of the weirdest games.
Can I just talk about that? Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
That was the most Baker-esque game ever. He threw, was it 4 touchdowns
and 3 interceptions?
And 3 interceptions. Like, that was the most bakery thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, if an alien came down and said, show us what Baker represents, I literally would show him that game from yesterday, because it was ridiculous. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Saints, if you turn the ball over 3 times, in most case scenarios, you are expected to lose.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous, because you're essentially giving up 21 points when you turn over 3 times, like, in theory. Yeah. But it was ridiculous. Again, the Bucs look very, very strong in their division. But it was ridiculous watching Baker do that.
I thought Spencer Rattler looked very good for his first game ever.
He did.
He got better. He got better. I mean, I was listening to on the radio. So I was listening to Nate Coombs on Talksport on the way home. He had George and Dom, who I follow on social medias. We follow each other, and they did brilliant job. Absolute brilliant job those lads did. They were known around the NFL UK scene, you know, obviously, so they've done an absolute brilliant job there. They were talking about, so this made me chuckle. They were talking about Baker Mayfield playing at an MVP level, and then he goes and throws an interception.
Yeah, no, okay. That debate should die.
Yeah, that's coming back. Obviously the Saints lost Olave early as well. So that's one of the most bonkers games I've ever seen.
Yeah. And he said Rattler was dealing the first half, and he says there's a QB battle in New Orleans. Like, I like Rattler. I think he's a good player. So I think I would like to see him actually beat out Derek Carr for the starting job.
Yeah, Rattler's a horrible side there, but a good quarterback.
It's a better
it's a great side.
Rattler is a brilliant side. Right. Henlitz, if you are listening, Mr. Gentleman is Shane Harris. He lives in Bristol. Please send him some Rattler so he can drink some decent stuff.
I drink it, the Griffin. I'm going to Thatcher's or Bow. I got no twice.
Right. Why don't you get some inches, mate? Like, that's the elite
I've had enough of time, Phil. Never again.
Right. Lost my that now. Things aren't well in Philadelphia. The fans booed the team off at halftime when they were 10-0 with Cleveland. Sirianni was seen ranting at the fans, having a go at them. It isn't good in Cleveland at all, despite them being a 3-2 record after a 2016 win at Cleveland. Against Cleveland. Sorry. The Chargers made light or difficult work in the end. Jim Harbaugh had an illness, which means he wasn't on head duty calls at all that game, but they still managed to win 23-16.
He did go back to the sideline though at the end.
Yeah, but he wasn't calling. He wasn't doing head duty.
I know that.
DC was calling.
Yeah. Did you see that? They let John Harbaugh leave his press conference earlier so he could check on his brother.
Yeah.
No,
that's John.
That's cool. Pittsburgh Steelers beat Aidan O'Connell-led Raiders. That was a funny play. So if you watch Sam Laporta play the touchdown with the flick play, and then go and watch Pittsburgh Steelers' attempt of it, that went epically wrong because that was hilarious.
I like that. That's
they still won 32-13. Atlanta win back-to-back wins with a 38-20 win over the Panthers. And the Bengals won 17-7 last night with Joe Burrow having his longest ever touchdown run of 49 yards.
Apart from apparently in elementary school.
Yeah. I mean...
That's for his press conference if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've seen clips of it today. I mean, Kelly woke up in the middle and said, "Yeah, I checked the phone in the minute and a half, and it was like 7-0 in the third quarter. So yeah, I'm not going to bother watching that. It was no response.
Thrilling game.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen Danny Dines throw a ridiculous pick. I've gone with my QB too at the moment because I didn't trust anyone else in the QBs out there that was available. And it's like, Danny Dines, he did me solid enough last year. Oh my God. I mean, you said Brian Dable's in trouble. I still think it's the head coach, the GM that's in trouble there.
I think
all that money and then you let Saquon Barkley go.
I think they're both gone at the end of the season, if I'm honest. Have you seen the New York owner was walking out before the game and getting abused by some fans? He just showed them his 2 Super Bowl rings and walked off.
Yeah.
Love that. I mean, the Bengals have now gone 2-4. They went 0-4. They've slowly started turning around. This is a typical Bengals type season, isn't it? Just with a fit Joe Burrow. Shane's shaking his head. He's not liking it.
Yeah, this AFC North football is my wheelhouse, as it were. I think the Bengals they've beaten 2 rubbish teams and they've lost to anybody that's got a bit about them.
Yeah.
You know, they play us in 2 weeks' time. I was. Come on, I try to be nice to you. You know, you don't get them very often. Even a blind neck is a squirrel once in a while. Wait, even a blind squirrel is a neck once in a while.
Blind neck is a squirrel. What the hell?
You know what I go?
It's in your combo, mate.
I'm tired. I'm oldest. I'm tired of working with children. I mean, it's not a good Bengals team. I don't think they're going to do anything. But before the season started, they were my pick to win the North. I'm glad I'm wrong. But the Steelers, again, squeaked out another win as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. All my ACCA teams came in yesterday. I had a couple of quid. But other than that, I would have been so annoyed if Minshew would have started and lost those towels to an horrible. What time is it? We can't.
No,
we're not allowed to anymore.
I know. I had to get that in there. Yeah, I don't think the Bengals are a good team now. I really don't. I think they've started off too slow.
I think the Bengals are a good team. I just think Joe Burrow doesn't look on it for whatever reason this season.
He doesn't look comfortable, does he?
Isn't it 3 years since he won? Like he was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's a long time.
I'm not sure if it's the injury last season, but there's something that just doesn't look right with him to me.
You know what it is?
He doesn't pass the eye test.
Not only that, but how much of pre-season did he have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase practicing?
Exactly.
I don't think neither of them practice apart from like a week. That's going to have a knock-on effect. And you're going to lose that chemistry and you're going to lose that connection. And yes, okay, he's played with Jamar Chase at LSU. He's played with Jamar Chase for 8 years now.
Yeah.
Years. But you went college and going into Cincinnati, you're going to have that regular connection, that regular understanding, like throwing the ball to and understanding. But if Jamar Chase was holding in, he was sitting out, he wasn't training. T. Higgins wasn't training at all.
He was training until.
What
I liked about Jamar Chase is he was training until Zach Taylor said he expected him to train, and then he stopped training.
And it's gonna cause issues. I mean, the big issue is that O-line is okay. I'd rather that O-line than our O-line, but it is an atrocious O-line. He gets hit left, right, and center. I mean, I think Dexter Lawrence still had 2 sacks last night. Yeah, Dexter Lawrence had 2 sacks last night. He's the best quarterback. He's the one sack. Sorry, the other guy had 2 sacks. No, Julia. It's Aziz or Julia. Yeah, Brian Burns on a sack as well. There is, you've got to protect that quarterback, and no wonder he's skittish. And he does look skittish. He looks worried in that pocket. The way he's like, he looks. You know what he reminds me of? He looks like a rookie who's about to start his first game. Every game. And he shouldn't be. He's been in the league 5 years now. He should look comfortable in line, but this is what his O-line is doing to him.
Oh, Jigga Joe Burrow.
Well, O-linemen. They never have them. I think this New York's defense pass rush side is underrated. I think Dexter Lawrence is probably the best defensive tackle in the league at the moment. Brian Burns is one of the best linebackers in the league. And then you got Azir or Julia, however I pronounce his name. He's coming on. He's second year, I think, isn't he? He's come out quite a bit this year as well. So third year side. So this team is getting better on the defensive side of the ball.
And I think
I was going to worry when they got rid of Xavier McKinney.
Hopefully Malik Neighbours will come back, and I think the Giants could surprise a few people.
Yeah, completely. There is one more game tonight, and it is
Speaking of New York teams,
the AFC matchup. Yeah, two more New York teams. One with a coachless, and one who's probably looking over his shoulder slightly at his job. What do we think of this? Are New York Jets in with a chance of upsetting the apple cart?
No, Buffalo are going to turn them over.
Yeah, same. I don't. Buffalo are different gravy.
I mean, I love the argument we just had there about that.
Yeah, it was a great discussion.
So it's not really off the baby shop. Not on this time.
Ollie, do you disagree?
New manager bounce.
They
I think so.
Jeff Saturday springs to mind.
Did they even win a game under Jeff Saturday?
Yeah, the first game.
First game against the Raiders and less of all the rest. Didn't they? But
yeah, that's true. Absolutely true.
I think New York did wrong by Robert Saleh. I think Aaron Rodgers did wrong by Robert Saleh. Massively wrong.
Yeah.
And I think you might see the New York fans turning on Aaron Rodgers unless he starts throwing 400 yards every game with perfect games.
Flick has said Bills all the way. They'll beat the Jets.
Yes, Flick. How about them Cowboys? Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Nathaniel Hackett's no longer on the play calling. So how much control is Aaron Rodgers going to have in the play calling now? The play call is going to come in. Yeah, we're going to go 21x, 2 fly, dead, whatever they're play calling. Rodgers goes, no, we're not. We're going to do this one, mate. You could just see it now, can't you? Kill. Change the play it's going to be like that. And I think it's going to be a mess, New York.
Didn't it go a couple of years ago that Rodgers at times was pretending his headset didn't work in Green Bay so he could call his own plays?
Yeah, because
he do that. Oh my God, really?
Yeah,
well,
he didn't he didn't want to like what Hackett was calling, and Matt LaFleur was going, Andrew, yeah, Rod, hey Rod, Aaron, and he was just, yeah, we're gonna do this. Yeah, New York is a mess at the moment. I mean, we all thought Aaron Rodgers is going to be the man who brings them the Super Bowl. In the end of the day, I think he's going to be the man that.
We all, I don't think anybody thought they were Super Bowl band this year.
We did when he signed.
Last year, my dark horses for the Super Bowl were the Panthers or the Jets. And I was so wrong. I was absolutely so wrong.
Yeah.
There'd be more wrong in my life.
Flick has just said, Rodgers is a muppet. He's very self-centered. I agree.
I mean, I don't know who you are, Flick, but like your opinions.
She knows her stuff. I'll give her that. She knows her stuff.
Yeah. So it's a 4-way Bills win tonight, and so many of our comments. At the end of the day, we'll find out in the morning. As always, you'll be able to download and listen to this podcast on your podcasting devices tomorrow morning. We'll be back on your screen Thursday night, 8:30 for episode 249.
Woo!
49ers Day, baby.
Until then, ladies and gentlemen, good night and stay safe.